country. It is small, but it's very strong. It's very, very strong. It's nothing. Hey, y'all. Hey, YouTube. We're talking about Eritrea today. Let's talk travel and possibly move to Eritrea, to Africa, to Eritrea. So, I always like to give y'all some history, some background. Eritrea dates back to as far as 800 BC. It's about 300,000 years old. They had four villages or four somewhat tribes, and back in that area. And the crazy thing is how strong a position women presented even back then. There were some other tribes from other areas continuing to attack these small villages, and the women were just tired of it. And the women went to their husbands to say, this has to stop. So um, the other tribes, all of them came together, and that's where the name Asmara was basically born out of. Asmara is the capital of Eritrea. And who has heard about Eritrea? Put in put in the comments if you have heard of Eritrea. And I'm going to tell y'all a fun fact about Eritrea. I'm going to tell y'all a fun fact. Guess who's from Eritrea or was from Eritrea? His background's from Eritrea. Is Nipsey Hussle. Yes. He's from Eritrea. So, as I said, like 800 BC to 12th century, um, Eritrean Asmara was basically born. It is a very ancient culture. Um, the colonizers were the Italians, so there are a lot of Italian. If you went to Eritrea, their architecture has Italian influence. So you would think you're in a small town in Italy, because the Italians were the colonizers, built, there and established there. Um, Eritrea is a small country. It's only about 3 million people. No, almost 4 million people. And uh, in the capital, Asmara, it's about 1 million people. About 1 million people. The city, even though it's small, it's not over the top. It's a very well planned city. It's very clean. It is a crime free city, and it's one of the cleanest cities on the African continent. Now, if you looked at Eritrea, it's not the sexy African countries that we see that's on the come up, but its currency is very strong. Its currency is probably the seventh strongest in the African continent. It's 15 naira. Let me see, Nafra to the American dollar. So that's very, very strong. When in comparison, like Kenya's dollar, it's like 127. So Eritrea's economy is very solid, very strong. Um, they are to this day um, under like an authoritative rule, but they make sure whoever's ruling it. I forgot what the president's name is. The city is well planned, and the people are chill. There are about 9 ethnic groups And hey, YouTube, what's up? Put a hey in the chat of where you are from. And thank y'all for stopping by. Please hit the like button because as you see, the sisters' numbers be struggling. And share, because sharing is caring, y'all. Sharing is caring. All right. So let me see what else. It's so much. So, like I said, Nipsey Hussle is from or was from Eritrea, his people. I think his dad is Eritrean. Um, Eritrea is in East Africa and it borders um, Ethiopia, Djibouti, Sudan, and I think Somalia. So, I always give you a little tea, right? I give you a little tea. So, back in the day, when the Italians were ruling, they had the Eritreans keep beef with the Ethiopians and the Somalians. So I always wonder why, like Ethiopians, Somalians, and the Eritreans, they look exactly, well, I don't want to offend anybody. They look very similar. So, but they don't really get along. And it's because the colonizers pitted them against each other and cause conflicts. But the ironic thing was that the Italians came in first, then the British came. We went through that, the British, and then Ethiopia had control over Eritrea till about 1991. It was a war from 61 to 91, 30 years. Ethiopia had rule over Eritrea. 1993, Eritrea finally got its independence. They're one of the, basically the youngest countries to have their independence, and that was only from like 1993. But the cool thing is with its history, hey Q, with its history, um, its ancient culture, in 2017, and that was just basically yesterday. It was inducted in the UNESCO Heritage Site. This was not just at Eritrea, but Asmara. Asmara is the capital of Eritrea. Okay. Asmara has many meanings. Okay. But going back to Eritrea, where that name came from, it is named after the Red Sea because it is sitting on the coast of the Red Sea and it's in the Horn of Africa, but its coast is on the Red Sea and it has, I forgot how many, almost 40 miles of coastline on the Red Sea there. Beautiful. And the coastline, cousin, and the coastline is a place called Massawa. Okay, that's a tourist area, but I say tourist lightly because Eritrea, y'all put in the comments if y'all ever heard of Eritrea. Put in the comments if y'all heard of Eritrea or know someone Eritrea. Um, but it's a great, Massawa is a great tourist area, but tourism isn't strong there. And I'm going to tell you why. For whatever reason, they didn't, I guess, connect with Ethiopia. I guess they still mad at Ethiopia and don't know how to connect to have proper Wi-Fi. So if you try to book a vacation to Eritrea, it will be a challenge because they do not, they do have, let me roll that back. It's not that they don't have internet, it's very scarce. So internet is ridiculously expensive. So I'm gonna like jump to the cost of living, right? So the cost of living is 73% less than the United States. But let me break it down. Um, for one person, this is without rent. The cost of living is like $900, right? For a family of four is about 3,000. So it's not as inexpensive as some of the other countries. And I think it's because the dollar is very, very strong. Their dollar is very, very strong. If you eat out at like a mid-class restaurant, it's gonna cost you like 18 or so dollars. When before it would be like $7, $8. Transport, they use mostly bicycles. It's not a big metropolitan city at all. It's very simple, but very clean. You have the outdoor markets, all of that. But the regular utilities are about $25, $30. But internet, y'all ready for this, is $200 a month. So yeah, they got to get their internet. They got to call Verizon, I guess. But again, going back to what I continue to say every night, right? I continue to say every night, you have those skills coming from the West. If you work for whatever, because I know AT&T and Verizon, all of them have gone through. If you are a telecommunications person, this is your opportunity to strengthen and go into a business for telecommunications and maybe open your own inter, internet. I'm not like techie like that, but it's just constant opportunities to be taken advantage of. Okay. So yeah, internet is very expensive. And even if you try to book, you cannot book like a hotel online. Uh, Eritrea also has tons of restrictions, um, as the no internet. It's really not tourist friendly. They want tourists, but with all the restrictions and then the quality of the hotels, if you can find them, is mediocre at best. So I kind of give Eritrea. Now, if you want to go off the grid, I'm like, I'm in the middle with Eritrea because I know several people from Eritrea, right? I used to work with this guy from Eritrea. He was very, very nice. And then, like I said, Nipsey Hussle, um, roots are from Eritrea. People are very nice, chill. It is 95% Christian. You wouldn't think so because the women dress like, in the Muslim covered and all of that. But 95% is Muslim, not Muslim, Christian. 5% is Muslim, but one of their main languages is Arabic. So I learn stuff every day like y'all. Okay. I thought, okay, if it's a strong Arabic language, it will be a high, like Islamic population. And it's the total opposite. So I'm learning stuff just like y'all. Right. So, um, and fun fact, this country, for whatever reason, high number of women. It's 3 women to 1 man in Eritrea. 3 women to 1 man. And it's kind of coined and teased as the African city of women. And from its inception, women kind of stood in the forefront because back in the 12th century, they were having drama with um, other parts of the region. They were continuously getting attacked, and the women were the one that stood up and was like, "Oh no, uh, handle this," telling their husbands to handle it. So, um, Eritrea is known for its women's strength. So That is a little fun fact that is real interesting. And it's a 3-1, 3-1. But going back, if you want, I wouldn't necessarily, I wouldn't know unless you just want to be off the grid and you may have family there whatsoever. It's 53 other countries as a tourist. Now, if you would want to live there, but again, internet is $200, and that's what we have to survive on. So I don't know. My African handbag thing, I would probably give it like a 2.5, a 2.5. And because it's not suiting the needs for you to, because you want to live your best life. And I'm always thinking, okay, well, a beach. So I always give it an extra point when it has a beach. And it has a beach and a coastline and all of that, beautiful beaches. But you have to connect with the world. And if that's $200 a month by itself, that's an issue. That's an issue. And even though their economy is very strong, they are doing massive things. It's still a simple place. So if you want to be off the grid, okay. Um, it's a place that you can definitely sit back and chill. They are also noted for their cuisine. Um, and their dishes, and they cook, a healthy portion of meat. They don't shy away from meat, but it's their, let me see, zigni. That's their national dish, and they're also known to have great restaurants, just food, food, food. So you know you'll be eating a lot, but the city looks like if you're not on a bike or walking. Um, that's like the major mode of transportation. And then also, as far as not being so tourist friendly, tourists are can't. In one of my research, they said they cannot ride public, like the public buses. The tourists cannot ride the public bus. You have to get an Uber or a driver or something like that. So it's a lot of restrictions, a lot of restrictions when it comes to Eritrea. So if there's anyone from Eritrea in the comments, please raise your hand. Come on the live and talk to us. Talk to us. Talk to us. Talk to us. Let me give you some more scoop. So it's about 9 ethnic groups in Eritrea. That's not a lot compared to, the other countries. And they have 3 main languages. It's Taj, Tag, Tagrina, 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 English, and Arabic. They don't have like a specific official language. Okay. As I mentioned before, very Italian inspired. So that's probably who was the first and long term colonizers were the Italians. Their architecture has massive, massive Italian influence to it. Um, what else? It's about 300,000 years old. Crime free city, well planned city. Um, and they got their independence 1993. Now, some great places, a great place to visit if you can stand it. It's called Dana Kill Depression, and it's a whole ton of salt mines. It's just magnificent to be, but it's hot, hotter than hot. So if you can't take hot, you know, that may not be a place for you because people already think Africa's too hot. And not all of Africa is hot. Um, some places are just as cool as Seattle or whatever. So it just depends on where you are. But the Danakil Depression and is probably the most visited area. As far as uh, a tourist Yeah, a tourist spot. So, and again, like I said, go to the Masawa. That's the beach. Great tourist destination. And that's pretty much it. Let me give you is resources, okay? Africa doesn't disappoint with their resources. So their resources that they import, export are pearls, millet, fabrics, livestock, zinc, copper, iron ore, and gold. So that helps the economy. And since they are a small city and well planned and well run, um, they really make the best out of the resources that they have. Um, and again, going back to what time is it? Ooh, I am whizzing through this, honey. I am whizzing through this. Okay. Um, the if you're an expat and you still want to work, it's basically the same. And we can definitely talk about, hey, Essie, Crystal, we can definitely talk about, dive deeper into finding, if y'all want, put it in the comments what y'all want to do. Because what I am picking up on is that the opportunities are basically the same. You just have to expound on it. But Eritrea is in, if I didn't mention before, in East Africa. East Africa, right next to um, Ethiopia, Djibouti, uh, Somalia. It's in East Africa. It is part of the African nation. So it's small, but it holds a solid place, and that's very, very impressive. So it depends on what you are looking for in a way of life. Um, if you want to check Eritrea out. Anybody have any question? Anyone from Eritrea? Eritrea? Anyone from Eritrea? Jump on for me. Jump on for me. And I want to thank y'all so much for coming on for the hour of power. I don't think it's going to be an hour of power today. I kind of whizzed through it. I'm trying to get tighter on the time to make it like 30 minutes. I really want to tighten it up because I know that everyone is so busy, but I just start to expound. But as time goes on, and we've covered a lot of the countries, I can whiz through it. To fly there, if you're coming from the United States, it's about $1,000 to $1,200, depending where you're flying out of. If you're flying out of JFK, or if you're flying out of Dulles, 1,000, $1,200, and that's it. Is that it? Yes, that is it. I covered everything today. So yeah, I give it about, because they got to strengthen. I can't go there and then look around for an apartment. I mean, a hotel room, and then I really didn't see any, I guess, formal looking hotels. It was like little private hotels. So it's how you want to travel. So if you are a traveler and you like to go to the off beaten path places, Eritrea, is it, because it has, it's clean, it's safe, it has, a coastline. It does have wildlife. It has elephants, and I saw camels walking through the street. So it's that type of vibe. Um, it's still like really African laid back. So it's something to check out. but I'm glad we're doing it. So we're not only knowing about the four, as I say before, the four African countries. It's 50 more of them, and we're going to check each one of them out. So, with that said, I'm not going to keep you on long. I'm not going to babble. I'm trying to get this to be more concise so we be in and out of here. No one looks like they want to come on. So we're going to finish this up in less than 30 minutes today. All righty. Well, I will check y'all tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Wednesday. What did I have on the schedule for tomorrow? I think Somalia, but I'm not sure. I gotta look because I've changed it so many times. But again, my name is Gloria, and I want to announce. Oh yeah, y'all got to get the for the folks that want the up to date step by step information. Again, DM me, repat, and if you are starting to plan your exit strategy, permanent or temporary, going home, 12 months, step by step, repatriation and travel guide, y'all got to get. It's so good. And I just want to let y'all know my name is Gloria. I specialize in ancestral and travel and repatriation for the diaspora going to Africa, making Africa your home, temporary or permanent. So I am here to answer any questions. DM me, visit the website Glampmux Travels, and I will see y'all tomorrow. All right, you take care. Bye. What do you want? Want to go to